How do you get a French teenager to board a cruise ship? Promise them unlimited croissants and Wi-Fi. Now picture this. A bustling pier crowded with young French lads and lasses, their faces glowing with the promise of adventure and the reflection of their mobile screens. As the ship's horn blares, signaling the time to board, a wave of chaos ensues. Each teenager, armed with a baguette in one hand and a smartphone in the other, jostles to get on board. They're like a swarm of bees, but instead of honey, they're after the ship's Wi-Fi password and the scent of freshly baked croissants. Now you must be wondering, why the obsession with croissants? Well, it's a well-known fact that a French teenager can smell a croissant baking from a kilometer away. And don't even get me started on their sixth sense for Wi-Fi. It's almost as if they have antennae hidden under their chic berets. And let's not forget about the cheese. Oh, the cheese. Picture the scene when they discover the ship's cheese platter. It's like a scene straight out of a comedy movie. Imagine teenagers huddled around the cheese, sniffing, tasting, and critiquing each variety with the seriousness of a seasoned sommelier. "This brie lacks character," one declares. "The Roquefort is a bit too audacious for my taste," another quips, while the others nod in agreement. And then there's the mad scramble for the best selfie spots. You'd think they were competing in the Olympics the way they sprint towards the ship's railing, all for that perfect shot with the sunset in the background. But of course, these are not just any selfies. These are French teenage selfies, each one a masterpiece of perfect angles, subtle pouts, and just the right amount of casual nonchalance. But amidst all the chaos, there's a palpable sense of excitement. The promise of new adventures, new experiences, and yes, new Wi-Fi passwords has each teenager buzzing with anticipation. And with the last croissant devoured and the Wi-Fi password secured, the adventure begins. What's more turbulent than the high seas? Definitely teenage drama. Ah, the high seas, a vast expanse of water, unpredictably beautiful and sometimes treacherous. Now, imagine that, but with a boatload of French teenagers. Yes, it's as amusing as it sounds. You see, a cruise ship is like a microcosm of high school, but with less algebra and more seasickness. Cliques form faster than you can say bonjour. There's the cool kids group, obviously at the ship's bow, trying to recreate the iconic Titanic scene. Well, it's more like 20 Jackson Roses, all jostling for the best Instagram shot. Then we have the drama. Oh, the drama! Nothing says teenage angst like a love triangle on a boat. In one corner we have Jean-Pierre, the charming footballer with a heart of gold. In the other corner we have Pierre-Jean, the brooding poet with a mysterious past. And in the middle we have Marie, who can't decide between a croissant and a baguette, let alone two boys. It's like watching a modern rendition of Les Miserables, but with less singing and more eye-rolling. Speaking of dramatics, the French do have a flair for it, don't they? It's like every moment is a scene from a Nouvelle Vague film. A spilled coffee becomes a tragic event, a lost earring, a mystery to be solved. No wonder they say the French invented cinema. And let's not forget the humor. French humor is as dry as their champagne and as sharp as their cheese. It's a subtle art, really. A well-placed joke about President Macron's dog or a pun on the word fromage can have them in stitches. It's all about timing and, of course, the right amount of sarcasm. So if you thought navigating the high seas was a challenge, try navigating teenage drama on a French cruise ship. It's like trying to read Proust in a roller coaster, but remember, it's all in good fun. Just when you thought the seas couldn't get any choppier, wait till you see the dinner buffet. What happens when a French teenager is faced with a choice between a burger and a baguette? A culinary crisis, that's what. Picture this, a grand buffet spread on a cruise ship, brimming with international delicacies. Now imagine a group of French teenagers, their eyes fixated on the burger station. You can almost sense the internal struggle, the battle between their French culinary pride and the allure of a juicy, American-style burger. One of them finally makes a move, cautiously approaching the hamburger stand. But just as he's about to reach for that enticingly grilled patty, he pulls back, as if touched by a hot stove. With a swift about-face, he makes a beeline for the baguette basket, the relief apparent on his face. And then, there's the cheese conundrum. The teenagers are confronted with an array of cheeses from around the world. But where is the camembert, the brie, the Roquefort? their faces fall faster than a soufflé taken out of the oven too soon. The scene unfolds further with a hilarious attempt by one of the teenagers to whip up a classic French dish. Imagine the chaos of a make-your-own pizza station being transformed into a battlefield for the creation of a quiche Lorraine. Flowers flying, eggs are cracking, and there's a suspiciously large amount of bacon being piled on. The result? Well, let's just say it was a quiche Lorraine that was more Lorraine than quiche. Don't even get me started on the croissant versus donut debacle. The sight of a French teenager trying to explain the superiority of a croissant to an American crew member is, in itself, a comedy of manners. It's like watching a mime trying to explain the theory of relativity. So the next time you find yourself on a cruise with a bunch of French teenagers, remember to pack a baguette, some cheese, and a good sense of humor. As all good things must come to an end, so does our hilarious journey. Our French teens, now seasick of dry land, bid adieu to their floating home. Their farewells, as dramatic as a French art film, only eclipsed by the bedlam of locating their luggage among a sea of identical suitcases. It's a spectacle, a theater of the absurd, a comedy of errors. And that, my friends, is the tale of the French teenager's cruise adventure. A voyage filled with laughter, drama, and an extraordinary love for baguettes.